out. Sorry, everyone, if you were trying to watch us and nothing was fucking happening.
It's a perfect
So,
example of how to pivot and adapt in the moment without losing your cool, right? And to
yes.
navigate life's little hiccups
Yeah, and it's totally okay to be irritated and, fucking mad about it too, because I
at
was.
the
I was just
same
like,
time.
ugh.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, for me, it's like the little things that will piss me the fuck off. So, like, something big happens or somebody else is really mad. I'm like, cool as a cucumber. And I'm like, I think it's from being a scapegoat in the family, probably. I'm just like immediately going to like, it's going to be all right. It's going to be fine. But yeah, the little things for me, I'm like, irritate the
Those
shit
are
out of
the,
me.
yeah, that's interesting, eh? Yeah. I find
Yeah.
I can do that too. Like when there's so much too big around me, then I tend to dissociate and I just shut it all off. It's a
Yeah,
bit of self-preservation, I think.
sure.
But yeah, I've definitely had to learn and continue to work on keeping cool around the smaller things. Like
For sure.
yesterday was a great day because I had everything to throw me off. I forgot my daughter's ortho appointment, so I had to like kind of scramble last minute to get her there. And then it ran really long, and I really like my morning routines. And I love to work out in the mornings, so like when I'm planning for it. And so till I got back home, I was over like an hour, and I was about an hour and a half kind of behind my schedule. And then I got home and the Wi-Fi's out, and I do my workout on these online videos. So then I'm like, damn it, now I'm feeling the pressure of time and I'm running out of time and you waste me day calling the Wi-Fi. And then I was just like, okay. With the Wi-Fi customer service, I selected the setting of call me back when somebody's available, so I'm not wasting my time for an hour on the phone. In the meantime, I put together my own workout from everything I remember and ended up feeling like doubly proud of myself because I was like, A, I didn't let it ruin my day, although I felt that urge to like complain and kind of sulk about it, and be like, now the Wi-Fi is out and I can't do my workout. Like that, I so felt my little brain wanting to go in that direction, right? But it just did, like, I resisted it. And in the end, I was thrilled because I had a killer workout, and I did it myself,
Nice.
kept following the video. And by the time I was done the workout, the Wi-Fi was back on.
Of course. It's like once you detach from like the outcome of what could possibly happen, then seems to be like so much easier.
Yeah, yeah. So it's
Everything
all
seems to
about
make more
pivoting
sense. Yeah, for sure.
those
Sorry, I
little
didn't want to stand. I didn't want to
annoyances.
stand anymore.
Yeah, no.
Um, and now my camera's not. Oh God, did I just hold on?
Can you shut off
Sorry.
the
I'm like,
camera?
now did I just
Okay.
again turn my camera off? Jesus criminy. Okay, so anyways, I'm trying to
Yeah,
get this where I want it.
there
My
you go.
lovely perfectionism issues. So yeah, so I know you were on the last one, you were like talking about how we like met and stuff, but like so just to set everything up for everyone if you're coming in right now, um, we're really just trying to help you guys understand a little bit more about what's going to be offered on the From Fury to Fulfillment 3-day event that we're putting on together. This is going to be teaching you how to transform your anger into power and peace. Um, and to go over a little bit, maybe the reasons why you possibly can be a little freaked out about why it is that you, what's keeping you from saying yes to doing it. Because I know we have a lot of
Mhm.
people who are interested. We did happen to do this over Memorial Day weekend in the States.
Oh,
So
it was
there's that. Yeah, that's
okay.
Monday. So totally
Okay.
forgot about that. But everything was lined up like astrologically so well for this that I'm still seeing it. So is Talia, a way that it's just happening the way it's supposed to. That's really kind
Yeah.
of how we both think anyway.
And I
So
want to be clear too, not to cut you up, but just to be clear, like we're saying 3 days, but it's not a three full day event where you're sitting with
no,
us like an 8 hour thing every day. So like not to be intimidated or to think like, oh, I'd love to, I just can't dedicate a full 3 days because I know that that's very hard to do. We're really aiming at like each day will probably an hour, maybe maximum two if we're really rolling and into the juice of it all. But I think, we want to keep it short and sweet so it's digestible and it's not overwhelming, and also so that it's not overly draining because there will be a lot of energy released and channeled and tapped into. And that can also, it can be exhausting to a certain extent because you're, opening up the floodgates and allowing yourself to be vulnerable and to be seen. And so more than that is almost maybe too much for a kind of your first foray into one of what
Sure.
we do. So yeah, so not to be intimidated by what you may worry about time wise. So maybe even on Memorial Day before the parties get started, there can be time for it, you know. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Um, Perfect. Yeah. So we probably will go over just a little bit about what you'll get to experience. And I would love, I know Talia, you can probably, you're the one that can see the questions and all the things. So if you guys have
Thank you.
questions, you have fears, you have concerns, even if it's not about this and you just have questions about anger in general, please put them in. I promise you, your question's not too small or too big. There's probably 5 other people. I just shared it. So we're good on my end too. So yay. Okay, wait.
Wait, what is happening?
Why is my camera not on? I don't know. Fuck, there I am. All right. I think we finally fucking got it figured out. Sorry, everyone, if you were. Are you able to hear all that? Nothing.
Yeah, I think my computer is playing. Hold on. So I've got to mute. There we
You
go.
gotta mute one of them, yeah.
I gotta mute the Facebook feed because I went to the Facebook feed to see the
Yeah,
comments. Oh my God, there's so much tech managing. Where's our
I know. It's
assistant?
ridiculous. Jesus. Yeah, so we'll probably go over that. I also want to help you guys understand too that like Talia and I coming together, like it's kind of awesome because we're both, if you know anything about human design, we're both generators. And I'm an Aries. And what were you again, Talia?
Virgo.
Virgo. Yeah. So very fire and earth coming together, which is really awesome because I very much am like, I don't like structure really. I like to kind of like just do things and things that are coming. And Talia is also that way, but she's also very grounded. So
Mm.
like her day, which I used to have an old business partner that did something very similar to what she's going to be doing. And fuck, do I miss it? My clients miss it. My stuff is very like the cathartic piece, and I'm, doing the opening prayer, and there's like, I just have a very fiery way of doing things. And Talia's day is like way more structured, which people fucking appreciate and need, especially if you have repressed anger or you have an issue with tapping into your anger, you're numb to your anger. She's really going to have some amazing information for you that is actually going to be written out in this beautiful format. So I really feel like it's the coming together of these two really powerful energies. Plus, we're two powerful women. We both are experts in anger. I don't see how this could not be like so impactful for people. Like I'm beyond excited to be working with you and bring everything to everyone. So
Well, thank you. Me too. I'm super excited because I love your energy. Like you said, you described us perfectly. I tend to get a little more cerebral and I really like to dig into the why and explain why and understand. And that's been a big part of my healing process. And for me, a lot of times accessing emotions other than anger has been my personal journey around it. So you seem to have this effortless flow. And not only that, you're so intuitive just in the conversations you and I have been having all this time, preparing for this and getting to know each other and everything. You have this intuitive ability to tap in to really see beneath what somebody is saying. And I felt that just in our conversation. So,
thank you.
yeah, I think we're a really great, like yin and yang approach.
Yes.
That'll really give, as I said, like earlier in the video that I posted, just really give everybody who participates a real boost forward at the same time, like a sloughing off. They'll be
Yeah.
able to kind of release what they're carrying and then walk away with tools to continue forward with whatever maybe either lingers or returns or to better help them understand what they just did, even, right? And like,
Yeah.
where did all of that come from and what was I carrying? And like, to help connect with it so that, it just gives you a deeper understanding of yourself, really.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, completely. It's like you're just describing it like it's so perfectly. Because yes, I think that because we come with two different areas but get the same subject, I
Hmm.
think it lights up all the areas of the brain for a
Yeah.
person, which is like so huge. So yeah, I don't know what you want to do. I mean, just kind of start with like what day one and my day will be like, and then you can talk about what your day will be like, or what do you
Sure.
want to do?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So day one, we're basically going to do like an opening prayer. We're going to have you guys tell your story, depending on how many people are there. I'm shooting to have at least 5 people there. There's 3 more spots that are available currently.
Hmm.
Um, and so depending on how many people show up, I really would love for you guys to tell your story. And that can be, I don't know, about 10 minutes or so probably of what you guys will talk about, but just basically why you're there, why you're here, right? Like what's brought you here. And then Talia and I will go into a little bit of our backstory to explain how we got into this and,
Hmm.
why we're doing it and why it's important to us and all the fun things. Talia, I think you also said you were going to do a meditation that day.
hmm I'm going
Mhm.
to do a meditate. I think I said I would do two actually. There's one in the beginning to kind of just prime us for just calm, harmony, visualization of what we plan to let go of, and then at the end we'll have a release of all that heavy energy that we've been
Perfect.
kind of cultivating.
Yes. And we'll also go over any fears or any concerns people are
Mhm.
having because they always do. There's really a fear of taking up space. There's a fear of sharing in a group atmosphere. I always have women who are like, I don't do very well sharing within a group. And if I had a dollar every time a woman told me that, and then another dollar for at the end of anything we did, they're like, oh my God, that was nothing like what I thought it was going to be like.
Yeah.
Because there's just I think my energy really does give off that, like, if you are going to be like a bully or you're going to be shitty, I'm going to fucking fuck you up. So I think that
Yeah.
I don't ever have women in my containers that would ever do that because really it feels like all the women are feeling the same way. They're all just like terrified to like kind of share with each other or open up. But it's like once that first two people usually open up and tell their stories, usually everybody's like, oh, okay, if you can do it, I can do it type thing, you know? So really that's what the first day is about is just trying to get a little comfortable with everybody's energy that's coming in and any concerns that you possibly have. And then on day two, if you want to talk about Talia, what you'll be doing for day two.
Yeah, I just want to add to it's not just your energy about like, you're a tough cookie and you're not going to allow any bullying. Your energy really is also very welcoming and
Oh,
inviting to share. Like that's how I
cute.
feel when we talk.
Yeah.
And I know that between the two of us, we're going to be able to create a space where people do feel comfortable. And like you said, once kind of one or two start sharing, then people kind of tend to see that like it's not so bad and you're in a space where people are all maybe different in different circumstances, but it all comes down to very similar core issues and core feelings and experiences. So you'll see that you're not really so different, and nobody is there to judge anyone. We're really there to support each other and feel that there's someone else who can relate and understand, and the most important thing is that you're seen. Because like so much of those core wounds are linked to not even being seen, not having been able to express how you're feeling,
Take up
not
space.
taking up the space, not wanting to bother anyone
Mhm.
with how you feel, and not being seen or heard. And so that's part of the main like ingredient to what we're doing here is to allowing you that space to be seen, be heard without judgment, with full acceptance and
Yeah.
surrounded by love and support. So yeah, that's where we set the stage for that in the first day that you'll feel that. And I think everybody will walk away from the first day going like, oh, okay, all right, this is good. I
Yeah.
was
This
able
is
to
not as scary
share.
as I thought it was going to be.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And I think people do have this preconceived notion that like one of the other big things I hear from women all the time is like, well, if I let this out, I'm
Mm,
not going to be able to contain it. If I let this out, it's going to overtake my life. It's going to ruin my life, ruin my relationships. This is only a 3 day thing. What if a bunch of stuff starts coming out and I can't fucking contain it? And now I'm just blah, blah, and this fear of like, it's going to be more overwhelming. And I'll tell
mm,
you, as I tell, want to tell everybody watching, after 4.5 years of doing this work, I have never, and I mean never seen that ever happen. The
mm,
only thing that is left, even after a 1 day event that I've done with people, is nothing but more peace and more calm and more clarity and more able to breathe. The nervous system actually, this is a nervous system regulation. I know it feels really heightened, like my nervous system's already here. Like if I go to here, like, what do you mean it's gonna like, but really that's what's happening is you've got this bubbling thing that's
mm.
happening that you don't even realize, even especially if you have repressed anger, you don't realize it's just constantly simmering, the pot, right? So letting it out in a safe space and letting it out therapeutically, which is
Yeah,
you having control over it, not it having control over you, because you're getting to decide on purpose, on purpose, to let it out the way that you want to, is a whole different result and a whole different,
yeah,
really what happens is an alchemization of that, and it turns it really right side up. Because right now it's imploding more than anything.
yeah.
So yeah, so I want to make sure I say that I've never had that happen. Again, after 1 day events, I've never had somebody say that there's more stuff. And if it is coming up, it's interesting. It's like it comes up and then it like goes out quickly. It's almost like there's already an alchemization that happens. And so it's like that sacred rage. So your anger is your anger currently, right? And then it turns into sacred rage, which is really sacred rage is it's working in a positive direction for you. And it really just helps it to move out more quickly. So anyways, I want to make sure I say that. We're also offering 2 days of Telegram support after the 3-day event. So you will have that support in there as well. So if something does come up that you still need to talk about, we'll both be in there for those 2 days after that. So that's something else that's being offered. So anyways, sorry about the tangent.
No, but it's right. Like it's like imagine, I understand how it feels so overwhelming. And actually, a few years ago, one of my daughters actually said that to me. Like if I let out these emotions, it's going to be too much for me. And it's kind of like if you can visualize like the sea like pounding against the seawall, and you're just trying to like contain it. So the pressure builds behind that wall. It makes it feel like it's so much bigger than anything. You hear the sounds of it, and the banging kind of like the sea trying to get past the wall. But if you kind of open the gates and allow it to flush through, yeah, it might come out in a big rush that's a little overwhelming at first, but once the pressure is released, it slowly will flow out into like a serene river. Like I'm trying to get
Yeah.
all like that, those kind of visualizations, right? And then
Yeah.
because you're giving it somewhere to go, right? You
Yeah.
keep it all bottled up inside forever, then of course it's just going to build and build and build and build. And it's
Yeah.
going to be like increasingly scary to release it. But if you have, like you said, with purpose, in purpose, with control on your terms, the ability to kind of like let off the steam of it, and allow it to flow out, it's much more manageable. You'll learn from
Yeah.
it, you'll heal from it, and you'll just feel cleansed. So,
Yeah. And I think there's also the other, hearing you say that too, the other fear that is like, I'm afraid my stuff's going to be too much for anyone else to handle or deal
mm,
with. And that's just like not possible. Like,
not over
I
here.
always give examples, and I don't ever tell stories or say names unless I'm allowed to. So I want to make sure I say that.
Yeah.
Really adhere to that. Um, but I have had one woman who literally had been sexually assaulted so many times she can't remember. She lost count. I had a personal friend of mine who grew up in a cult who literally was assaulted by her father and then passed around to all the men for like years. I mean, like these are the things, right? So like any level of abuse, and I've had women come in who have only had like people only, right?
Yeah.
People pleasing issues. So it's not a lot of, they're always like, well, I'm afraid my story's going to be like too small. And what I always hear is the larger story person hearing this the so-called smaller, it's all the same stuff, all the same level, all the same importance, the smaller story person, and then the larger story person is like, oh my god, thank you for saying that. Like you start to quickly realize it doesn't matter what level your trauma's at, it's all fucking trauma. And if it's important to you and it's ruining your life and it's making things hard for you and it's making things so that everything is not balanced in your life, that's all that matters, you know? And
Yeah.
so I personally, you can't be gory enough. I get off on it. I fucking love it. And that's
Well,
because of
and
my own history. So yeah, so I love it. I just can't wait for somebody to tell me something where I have to be like cringe because it hasn't happened yet. So
Well, but don't forget too, sometimes like trauma is sometimes simply what we've internalized. So it may
yeah,
not have even been a traumatic situation or abuse or anything, but it's how, as a child, we perceived it and then relates it to the story that we tell ourselves, which is actually kind of what I'm going to be talking about on day two, this segue, in day
perfect.
two. So what I'm going to be focusing on, and it's one module in a larger course that I've created that will be released soon. But this one, we're going to focus on the emotional narratives and how they impact how we see ourselves, our feelings of self-worth, and how they keep us in a ready state of anger arousal. Like we're just ready to be angry because we're continuing to tell ourselves, I'm not worthy enough. I'm not good enough. Nobody loves me. I'm always abandoned. Everybody betrays me. Whatever the storyline is, and we all have our own individual ones. When we continue to repeat them to ourselves, It makes us more predisposed to see each situation to fulfill that prophecy, even if it isn't necessarily the case. But then it also keeps our nervous systems very ready to react in a defensive way. And that's what can spark that anger, that I've experienced it myself till I had this huge breakthrough last year about it, where I realized like, wow, there were a few incidents that I had where I really exploded and like even my brain couldn't comprehend because like the situation didn't warrant that level of like rage around it. And I recognized that like that running theme is just I'm not good enough. And so not only am I always trying to prove to everybody how good enough I am, please see how good enough I am, but also then I set these impossible standards for myself of perfectionism, which you can never reach because none of us are ever perfect. So it's
Yeah.
constantly striving for the impossible and then failing. And then on top of it, it comes down to always being ready to say, okay, well, I guess that proves I'm not good enough. And then, it perpetuates that cycle.
Yep.
So, we all kind of go through these and it really is a huge factor in a lot of our reactions and the rate, like the way that those like trigger reactions that we have. So that's what
Yeah, and
I'm
it also
talking about.
also keeps us in that space of which I don't know about you, but for most of my clients, the biggest anger people have is at themselves. I
Mm,
can't get over it. I can't just go with the flow. I can't just not be angry anymore. I can't just
mm,
not people please. I can't like their brains are like can make sense of it, but their body, because they're in a trauma response, and they don't realize it. They can't like move past it. And so they get mad at themselves. And then
mhm.
that anger, as you're talking about, perpetuates and continues patterns. Now you are once again, I don't believe we attract anything. I think we attract everything, but the things we're attracted to and allow to stay in our lives, people, places, situations, relationships, whatever, right? Self-harm of whatever that is, continues because we don't think we're worthy. We don't think we're good enough because we're mad at ourselves. And so it's just all fucking tied together. And
Yeah.
so, and that those original spaces of not being allowed to show that anger or be allowed to even be mad at ourselves and have those conversations, it's where a lot of that root stuff comes from. And once you're in an environment where it's not to me, for me, I've noticed it's not just about like releasing the anger, it's being witnessed in a positive way, because the
Mhm.
only way people have been witnessed is in a negative fucking way. They've done
Mhm.
it, been shut down, they've done it, been abused more, they've done it, they've been rejected and abandoned more. And
Yeah.
when you're in a space where you have people staring at you, they're like, fuck yeah, keep going. I love that. Yes, nice work, nice job. And it's like your whole system goes, huh? And it's like
Yeah.
given this new information for it that just makes it like, oh shit, okay, I didn't just need to release it, I also needed to be witnessed in this way, that encouraged to let go of it. It's just a huge fucking big deal.
Well, and that's
That
a big part of what you do and what you're going to be doing on day 3, right? So
yeah,
once
yeah.
we
So
all
day
tell our
three is
stories and we go into the emotional narratives,
yeah.
talk on the second day, then third day, you've got the stage.
Yeah, third day is so I have a 5-step process that I've been doing, and this is going to be a mini version of that. So I will have everyone come into class with what I call the anger purge list, which is basically a list written out in a specific format of everything you've ever been pissed off about. Now that's my normal like one-on-one. For you guys, it'll be a mini session. So I'll probably have you come in between 10 and 20 things written down, and then you'll read that list out loud, which is another witnessing, another thing to be able to say those things. And I've had people have massive releases just from their list
Mm,
alone. I had one woman who literally threw up from writing her list. She was like, I can't even show up to class because I literally puked from writing my list. She said, I had 10 years of anxiety and literally realized just now that all of my anxiety was associated with anger. So this is a really big deal
mm,
to do. Even if you've done it in other settings, I've had people tell me, oh, I've done something similar. This was completely different because the container is just fucking different. So anyway, so there's that. And then we do some somatic shaking, we do some primal breath work, and then we go into my scream portion. Now, the scream portion is only my clients scream on average for an hour straight, and I've seen a lot of them go for up to 2 hours. That is not what will be happening here. I'm going to do a timed version. So I usually find that about between 7 to 10 minutes is usually seems to be all right. One of the big things people have a concern about is like, I have neighbors, I have somebody in my house. How the fuck am I going to do that? Um, there are two companies. I don't know. It's probably a little late now, but there are two companies that sell shout pillows that you actually can scream into that really muffle things really well. One of them is called the Shoutlet. It's
I love that.
Shoutlet. And I have that pillow. It's amazing. It's just a little compact pillow. And actually an affiliate for them just recently. So anyways, there's that. And then there's the Yell pillow, which is also very similar. So anyways, those are options. But yelling into just a regular pillow into a blanket also works. I will tell you again, 90% of my clients have done all my work online. 90% of my clients have neighbors, have somebody in their house. I have never, not once, had a neighbor complain, have somebody in their house
Mhm.
complain. I also tell people that if you're gonna, it's only 7 to 10 minutes, so you can tell the people in your house, like, this is what I'm gonna be doing. You might want to put some headphones on,
Mhm.
before I go into this process, or if they want to watch TV or go leave for 10 minutes or whatever the fuck, right? Um, so that's another option. But so anyway, those are hopefully some things because I always get that. Well, I can't because there's people in my house. You can, you just need to make a little bit more adjustments, is all,
Mhm.
which can be
Yeah.
done. And then after that, I'll bring you guys back in with a little bit of just like easy breath work so we can get back into our bodies. I do a really short chakra meditation to clear out anything energetically. While you guys are screaming, I do Reiki, so that's happening as well. Throughout this whole process, my psychic abilities kick in, so I always have messages for you guys from your guides, which is always fun and really insightful and healing also. And then after the meditation, we will usually it just depends. Sometimes I get intuitive hits to have you guys talk about how you felt right after the scream session and then go into the meditation, or we do it afterwards. So one of the two, we will have a conversation about how you're feeling and what you felt, and if you want to discuss that. And then the Telegram chat will also be open this whole time, so you guys will be able to come in and talk about things that are coming up because things start coming up just from day one. Things usually start coming up before this class even starts, to be honest. So Talya and I will both be in there answering anything that comes up for
So
you guys.
it's really like 5 days of Telegram because it'll be the 3 days that we're
Yeah,
doing
yeah,
the event and then 2 days
yeah.
after. Yeah.
Correct. Yeah, but the 3 days that we're doing it, we will also be in there. So I wanted to make
Mhm.
sure that you guys do know that. And then yeah, and then if you guys want to, we will have obviously an offer to give you guys if you guys do want to work with us. Um, that's not where this is going to be super focused. And a lot of people do these things
Yeah.
and they're really focused on that. We're not going to be focused on that. We'll talk about it on the last day. And that's or one of the days, and then that'll pretty much be the end of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's yeah. So do you have any questions or anything that's coming up on the lives that you can see? I'm gonna check mine too.
I'm gonna check because I've been staying on the no questions. Just hi to Ruth.
Okay.
But
Let me see.
yeah, and the replays will be available. We'll send it all out in an email to everyone afterwards, right?
Yeah, mine doesn't. Oh, there it is. Here we go. Yeah, I haven't seen anything that's no questions yet, which is fine. Yeah, so this will be recorded so we can share it out as well so other people can see it and all the things. But if you're interested in joining, let us know and we're more than happy. The cost for the 3 days is $111.
Yeah.
If you cannot afford that and your soul is like, I need to do this, please come see one of us. We will get you in, pretty much no matter what it is, right? Basically, like a donation amount if that's all you can afford. Because we don't want to send and turn away anyone that feels like they're
Mhm.
really called to do this. So,
Yeah.
also, if you're not really resonating with this, but you think this could be really important work for other people, please feel free to share it on your
Sure.
page or send them to us. We'd be more
Yeah.
than happy to have a conversation about all that. Anything
Hmm.
else you want to add, Talia?
I'm just really excited. I think we're both going to be enhancing each other, and I'm excited to support whoever's going to be in the group. Looking to really kind of fill it in a little with just a few more people. I think we're doing good. But yeah, I'm really excited to do this and to connect with everyone and to share, what we've learned because I know each of us we've been on our own anger journey, and that's like also something important to know. And I think I'm speaking for you as well that, we've each gone on our own journey dealing with our anger, learning about it, exploring it and learning the tools. And so, like, that's where we're coming from. We're not coming, as on high to like lecture down to anyone. We're coming from our own personal experience and from the desire to help others the way we've
Yes.
been helped, really to kind of pay it forward and pass it on. So,
Yeah, definitely. We definitely will go into the details of like what brought us both into that on day one. I'm excited to share that with people because I know it's our own stories are very powerful.
yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. All right. Well, thanks
That's
guys
good.
for tuning in. We appreciate you, and we'll see you out there. If you have
All
any
right.
questions or anything, let us know.
Yay.